London, and this is going to be a really informal Q&A. Just to let you know about how my day has been going. I have been in Cambridge all day, which is actually my old hometown. Even though the website's called Learn Guitar in London, I moved to London from Cambridge. So since we've had my son Jules, we've been coming to see my mum and dad even more. So that's where we are this weekend at my mum and dad's. And hey, John Ree, hey, Yashadin, great to have you with me today. So, as I said, this one's going to be much more informal. This Q&A. Normally, I've planned them out, but it's been a really busy week, and today has just been a chill out day. So it will be really relaxed. Guys, thank you for all your chats already. So this is a Q&A. Hey Robbie, hey Luca, hey Guitar Blitz, hey Jamie. Oh, so Jamie's asked a great first question. Liam Gallagher or Noel Gallagher? Oh man, if you've been listening to Radio X, what you can't really choose between them. That's basically all that is on Radio X is either Liam Gallagher or Noel Gallagher. And at first, we listened to Liam's album on the way back to where we live, and I really liked it. It was brilliant, really good album. I thought his songwriting was just on point, and every song on the album was great as well. But I haven't heard Noel's album yet, so we'll see. But if it comes down to each of them in with the career they've had, I think I prefer Noel Gallagher just because of the songwriting chops. He's just such a great songwriter. So it's really great to have so many of you with me. Luca, hey, what's going on? Nice to see you. Jamana, greetings from Egypt. Hey, how you doing? What's music? Arctic Monkeys or the Kooks? Guys, keep this going. This is nice and informal. Yeah, just saying which band I'd go for out of those two. Keep putting bands in, saying which one I'd go for. Arctic Monkeys or the Kooks? Got to go with Arctic Monkeys. Their body of work is so much better. And the songwriting is so on point. And as a band, I think that they gel really well together. I actually saw the Kooks. They played on a TV show in the UK, and they were just awful. Really, I just really didn't like the singing. Let's put it like that. Do I like Cage the Elephant? Yeah, I know a couple of their songs. And yes, Jeremy, definitely go with Arctic Monkeys. Sarthak, so I hope I've said that correctly. I probably haven't. Green Day or Guns N' Roses? Oh, dude. That's really tough. Oh, Green Day or Guns N' Roses. Okay, so I'm totally going to go down to personal thing here. It's got to be Green Day just because their body of work was fantastic. Dookie was one of my favourite albums of all time. It just reminds me of summer and just chilling out. And yeah, it's really got to be Green Day. But Guns N' Roses, you can't deny that stuff. Acoustic guitar or classical guitar? Acoustic guitar or classical guitar? I don't really know classical guitar too well, to be totally honest with you. I have a classical guitar. We have one downstairs, which is in the lounge where Jules, my son, who's now one, is sort of bashing that guitar completely and plays around with it. And that's classical. But in terms of the sound of it, acoustic is so much more versatile. You can strum an acoustic. You can do fingerstyle on acoustic. Classical, the sound of classical guitar is great. Don't get me wrong. I've done a few classical guitar lessons, as you guys may know, and I was brought up on classical music, but there's something raw and more poignant for me about acoustic pop, rock, that sort of thing. So let's call out some names. Serial Killer, how you doing? Satek, Yashtin, where are you and how are you doing? Where am I? I'm in Cambridge. I'm at yes, I do have a son, Satek. I'm at Cambridge at my mum and dad's place, and I'm just chilling out with a bottle of beer. This is Adnams Broadside. If anyone in the UK, I'm sure you've heard of that. My grandparents actually grew up where this brewery was, so I've been drinking this beer for a long time. So some people mentioned Catfish and the Bottom, they're another group that I always hear on Radio X, and I'm just yet to hear a good, what I would call maybe acoustic rendition that I could do, but I haven't really done much research, so I should do more research. Jamie O'Hare said the Jam or the Who. Oh, I go with the Who, but yeah, I think the Who was a little more ambitious especially in their production. Yeah, definitely. So, any other bands that we can go and compare for? If I'm going to go right back to my youth, it would be Oasis versus Blur, and it's definitely going to be Oasis every time. And if anyone puts Radiohead against anybody else in the chat, then it's always going to be Radiohead for me. I don't think anyone's going to beat them. Any Radiohead fans out there? It'd be good to hear from you. Yeah, the Who all day long. That's right, BJ. You got it. Nirvana. Oh, I love this. I love how this has started. Nirvana or Foo Fighters? Oh God, it's got to be Nirvana. Now, don't get me wrong. Nirvana inspired Dave Grohl, in my opinion, to create the Foo Fight. Well, to get into songwriting. I know he was probably writing songs way before he was even with Nirvana, but he inspired Kurt Cobain inspired Dave Grohl, in my opinion, inspired his songwriting and made him take those first steps of actually forming the Foo Fighters. Because I think he formed the Foo Fighters purely out of necessity. I think he really needed to be in a band and he wanted to be in a band. And obviously the colour and the shape and everything came from that. And their first album, the Untitled album, where Dave Grohl played all the instruments. So it's going to be Nirvana. Yeah, I can see there's a few people agreeing with me here. Sathik's saying Nirvana too. Yeah, definitely. There was something about the way Kurt sang that I don't think Dave Grohl could ever get close to as well. The emotion of it. So, Rajavanda, I don't know if I've said your name wrong. Nirvana or Green Day? I'd still go with Nirvana. One Direction or Fall Out Boy? I don't know One Direction that well. I know a few of Fall Out Boy's songs, so I probably have to go with Fall Out Boy, but that's a bit of a slightly more tricky one, a bit of a trickier one to answer because I don't really know their body of work too much. So, guys, I just want to let you know what's going on and what's happening in the next room behind me. So we've literally just got to my mum and dad's place, and they haven't seen my son in maybe 5 or 6 weeks, so they're playing with them, and I just had to say, look, I've promised to go live, and I've been doing lives on YouTube every Saturday now, and I was still a bit late for doing that live, so sorry about that if some of you guys were here at 5 o'clock. And now I'm just chilling out. So I love the fact that this AC/DC or Metallica. Hey Paula, hey Jory as well. ACD or Metallica? It's going to be Metallica. I don't know AC/DC. I don't know their back body of work that well. I'm going to get to Jamie's next one in a minute. I don't know AC/DC's body of work too well, but Metallica, it's got to be Metallica. Like the amount of albums and quality albums that they've done, apart from, what was that new metal album they did that was just horrendous? That wasn't too good, but most of their music, most of their albums are absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm going to go for Metallica on that. Someone say the Stones or the Beatles. Oh, God. I'd go with the Beatles because the Beatles started, they're the godfathers of pop music. They started it all, right? So it's got to be the Beatles, definitely, all the way. Okay, so let me ask you one. Let's see if I can come up with something good here. Pink Floyd or the Rolling Stones? Let's go for that. Pink Floyd or the Rolling Stones? That's a challenge, right? Pink Floyd or the Stones? Which one would you go for? Hey, Alan, good to have you in with me. David Mitchell. Seether versus Stained. I don't know Seether at all. I do know Stained. I love that. It's been a while since I have. Na, 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 na. That's the only song I know by Stained. Everyone's going for Pink Floyd. Stones. Oh, you see, this has divided you. Look at this. Rolling Stones, Pink Floyd, Rolling Stones. How did the gig go, Michael? I'll get to that in a minute. I think Pink Floyd's got this. I think Pink Floyd has nailed it. You can't really put Pink Floyd against anybody. And to be honest, if I'm going to be serious for a second, you shouldn't really be putting music against music. Everyone's got their different tastes, but it is cool just to sort of discuss like bands and the sort of things that your influences, I suppose. Like here's another question for you guys. Name one guitarist that is influencing you and your own music or whatever it is you're learning. Name one guitarist. If you could only listen to and learn their songs, which one guitarist would it be? There you go. Which one? Someone saying Hendrix, Gallagher. Drue, should I buy a Fender CD 140? I don't know, mate. No idea. Uh, Marty Friedman, interesting. Angus Young, Paul Simon. That's really really good. George Benson, fantastic. David, yeah, nice. John Frusciante. I can never say his surname. John Frusciante. John Mayer. What music do I prefer? The Paul McCartney, Like It, Slash. See, look at this. There's some. Even though I'd expect a lot of you guys. Ah, you're too kind, John Ree. Come on, you're making me blush. What was I about to say? I was going to scroll back on a comment. Okay. So somebody asked me how the gig went. So if you remember a couple of lives back, I played you 3 songs and you helped me choose the 2 songs that I was going to play at this open mic night. Well, I played the open mic night last Tuesday and I prepared really well for it. I decided to go in the end for Believe, Share, the acoustic version that you guys really, really liked. And I think some of you said do a video lesson for it. I thought about it, but then I thought not many people are going to search for that. You know, I mean, when would you ever search for acoustic version of Believe? So Ramstein, there you go. I've said your name. So the gig went well. However, even though I was heavily prepared, when I got on stage, I still mucked up a few chords, and you know, it went great. The audience said come back next week, and there was lots of cheering. And you know, it's not as if I'm an amateur at this. I used to run an open mic night for 3 years, and I've bussed, and as you guys know, I sing and play and teach, etc. So I'm not an amateur at it, but I did feel a little rusty on stage. It did make me kind of feel a little bit sort of, I guess, just out of my comfort zone. Do you have any suggestions for the first time going on stage with a guitar? Yes, I do have a good suggestion. Video yourself playing. Video yourself playing and watch it back. In fact, don't even get on stage until you've seen yourself. You know, everybody now can video themselves. It's so easy. So there is no excuses for if you know you're going on stage, or if you're playing even in front of friends and family and you've got that coming up, just video yourself. Because if you can't get through the pressure of videoing yourself, which it does add pressure, then being on stage is going to feel even more pressured. So video yourself and watch it back. Think, is there anything you could improve within the next however much time you've got before the show that you're doing? So yeah, that's the first thing. Video yourself. Practice the way that you're going to perform. So that means if you're going to perform standing up, practice standing up. What to do to boost your confidence in playing in front of an audience? This is quite easy in a way. What you do is you accept the fact that someone has to be up on that stage playing. And that someone, just for that small point of time, is you. So don't think of the fact that people are there because they don't want to listen to you. That's the first thing that goes through your head. You're thinking, oh, these people aren't going to want to hear me. I'm not good enough. You know, I haven't paid my dues. Think you're providing a service. Think it's as simple as that, and that really, really helps me. I always think, well, you know, I want to watch someone up on stage. I don't really care who it is. So think of it like that. Don't think of it, because what you're doing is nerves happen because you just think you're going to get judged and you're out of your comfort zone. So someone said CDs or vinyl. I love the fact the chat went like this. I don't know who started this, but thank you. CDs or vinyl? Well, it's got to be vinyl in terms of sound quality. Yeah, so it's actually one of my favourite guitar chats, actually. I like how the fact that, and Yashtin said, channel, I've posted only one song, but give you a review. There you go, Yashtin. That takes courage. Video yourself, tell people about it, get them to see it. Trust me, if it's on YouTube, then people will have opinions. There's no doubt about that. It happens. So that's a really, really good start. Definitely video yourself. Okay, guitar lesson for Shares Believe, please, Drew. Brian, did you hear it? Did you hear the cover that I did? Because I actually, do you know what? I actually really enjoyed that cover. It was one of these things, if you actually listen to Believe by Cher, if you listen to it now, the production sounds so, so cheap. It just sounds really 90s, and it was the first time a producer had really used auto tune in a really obvious way. Do you remember her voice goes, "Believe it," and it sounds really false, doesn't it? But if you take away all that production and you just have the chords and the singing and the message of the song, it works. It's brilliant. And guys, if ever you're thinking of doing covers, then trust me, I've been to a lot of gigs, a lot of open mic nights where there's amateur performers, and a lot of people do the same things. You know, they do Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan, they do Wonderwall by Oasis. They, you know, it's always the same tunes. But if you can find something, a message in a song that people know, you know, it's just on the cusp of people knowing it, but people maybe never have heard it like that, then and if you can find a song, something like Believe, for example, that sounded kind of cheap now, but if you strip it all back, it sounds great. I'll give you a really good example of this. If you are thinking of planning doing your own covers, covers basically means, if you don't know what that means performing other people's songs. So, for example, Hurt by Johnny Cash. Okay, let's look at that as an example. So Hurt was originally written by Nine Inch Nails and Trent Reznor, and that was a very sort of industrial, gothic scene. And the original, have you heard the original of that? If not, type it into YouTube now. Type in Hurt, Nine Inch Nails. It sounds so different to Cash's original. And what did Cash do? Cash stripped it back to just the acoustic guitar, strumming some simple chords, and excuse me, and it was just about the message of the tune, and it sounded great, right? Do you agree? It just sounds so good when you compare the two next to each other. So that's my advice when it comes to covers. Find something that um, that you haven't that hasn't been done before, I suppose. If you're playing without looking at the fretboard, then just how to play the song perfectly when knowing not to look. Any tips on playing guitar without looking at the fretboard? Any tips on playing guitar without looking at the fretboard? Well, I think one of the first things to do is just to know that you don't need to look at the fretboard. So when you are actually playing, maybe pick a point in the room in front of you, something not above you, because then you'll be lifting your head, but just keep it at eye line. Pick a point there and just try changing between a couple of chords. So maybe start with C and G chord, just changing between them. And I think part of it is just knowing that you don't need to be looking down the whole time. I think when you're a beginner, you do look down all the time because you want reassurance that you're fretting in the right way. But I guess it just comes down to confidence. And especially if you are thinking of going on stage and playing live, then you're going to want to be looking around. Best picks for playing riffs, please. Don't ignore me, sir. Best picks for playing riffs. Well, you just need to choose a pick that works for you. But personally, I use, for picking individual strings like that, I'd be using Tortex Blues, they're called. They're 100 mil, so they're the ones that I use for picking out riffs. I'm just going to have to change hands, guys, because it's... excuse me. I'm about to start a channel. Please give me some suggestions. I think the important thing is, if you're going to start a YouTube channel now, is to only get involved with something that you absolutely love. You've got to love it. Otherwise, all the hard work that goes in with creating a YouTube channel will just seem like a chore. So you must choose a subject or a song or whatever it is you want to. If you're a blogger and you want to talk about something, then it's got to be something you love. If it's not something you love, then really, what's the point? Someone's asked me what camera I use for making my videos. I use a Canon 650D and I use a Canon EOS M. And really, in the scale of things, those cameras are really out of date now, but they do the job. They get the job done. I've actually been looking at a Sony, will perhaps be my next camera, but we shall see. Cool. Any more questions, guys? This is a Q&A. It's just because I'm on my phone. Which phone do I use? I'm using an iPhone 6. Because because I'm on my phone, I can't scroll back through comments. Sometimes acoustic covers are the best. I played Zombie acoustically at a gig last Friday, whereas normally my band play full metal versions. Um, yeah, exactly. You've hit the nail on the head. So something that you would expect to be loud and rock, if you strip it down, then it can sound great. It really can. It's when you it's when you stumble upon a song that doesn't rely on that doesn't necessarily need the extra music behind it for it to shine. Because if you think about it, if you're on acoustic guitar, there's only really so much you can do unless you're doing the whole Ed Sheeran thing with loops and you're layering stuff. So if you are doing a cover, you've really got to make sure that things sound good. Please tell me, should I sing or not? Please. Okay, so should you sing or not? I don't know. It's your choice, Yashton. Do you enjoy singing? How do I maintain a consistent strumming rhythm while singing? I always end up strumming to the lyrics and can't keep a consistent rhythm. This is a really, really good question. And my advice to you is this. There is a three-step system. First of all, you choose a song that you know extremely well. That's the first thing. It can't be something that you've only heard a couple of times. Secondly, you strip it down, the rhythm, to just basic down strums. No full rhythm pattern, just basic down strums. Make sure that that is under your fingers and that's all good. Next, what do you do next? Sorry. Next, you strum those four basic down strums and you hum the song. By humming the tune, okay, this is really important, by humming the song, you're not committing so much to the lyrics, and also you can still hear the guitar. So try humming the tune first. If you hum it, then you're starting to get what's known as the syncopation of the rhythm, the strumming hands, and the singing at the same time. Because the thing that's difficult is having to do two things at the same time. Well, when you're playing guitar, it's already two things at the same time. So if you're singing as well, it's like 4 or 5 things at the same time. So start humming whilst doing your basic down strums. That's the first really, really important thing. Once you can do that, then bring back the full rhythm of the song with humming. And finally, go for your full rendition, actually opening your mouth a little bit more, but don't sing loud, sing quiet. And finally, to qualify all of this for you singing players out there, don't start singing and playing a song until you can play guitar. Do you have any? I'm just going to get to that in just a second, but I have to study. All right, Harry, I'll just get to your question in a minute. Finally, don't start singing and playing a song until you can play the guitar to that song whilst reading something out loud or whilst having a conversation with someone and actually listening. If you can do that and you're not making mistakes on the guitar, then you're ready to sing and play. If you can't, then you haven't played guitar long enough, I'm afraid to tell you. So Harry said, do I have any interest outside playing guitar? Yes, loads. Let's go through the top 3. The first one is Call of Duty. I'm a huge Call of Duty addict. I've got a projector set up, gaming set up at home, and I absolutely love unwinding playing some Call of Duty. For you Call of Duty players out there, I play Black Ops 2 because that's my favourite, and I'm on a 2.8 KD and about 400 score per minute, which it's taken me about 3 years to get to. So I do like a bit of gaming. It is a big part of not a big part, but a small part of my life. It helps me unwind. Number 2, archery. My wife and I, during the London Olympics, went to go and watch archery at Lord's Cricket Ground, and we were very inspired. We got to have a go at playing some archery, and then we said, right, we're going to start learning. So my wife and I have both been doing archery now for 3 years. I've got the lowest handicap at my club, and I absolutely love archery. It's another target-based thing, a little bit like Call of Duty, right? So that's my second thing. And my third is I sing in a barbershop. Barbershop singing, for you guys know what that is, it's called close harmony singing, where we're all singing together, and that's my third interest outside of playing guitar. You could be buddies with my hubby. Call of Duty and guitars, his life. Archery, don't give him ideas. I'd like to meet your husband. He sounds great, Sarah. Fantastic. Yeah. What do you think about plectrums? Are they practical? Is it worth having one? So I think you should never rule out using a plectrum. BG, the model of my faith guitar is the Blood Moon series Venus. So plectrums, don't rule them out. Okay, do use them, give them a try. But if after using them for a bit, it just doesn't work for you, and you're getting good results using your fingers and thumb, then just use your fingers and thumb. You've got to use things that work and make you enjoy the guitar. So yeah, picks doesn't really matter either way. Any other questions, guys? The thing is, normally when I'm doing the normal Q&As, I can go back through all the comments, but on my phone, which I'm having to do because I'm in Cambridge at my mum and dad's place, I can't go back through the comments. At least I don't think I can. Let's have a look. No, I can't. So, cool. Someone said, where does a tone come from? That's a little bit of an odd question. The Strokes or the Smiths? I'm glad we're still doing this. The Strokes or the Smiths? That's a great one. You really thought about that, didn't you, Mops Music? I'm going to go with the Smiths because, is it Johnny? What is his surname? Please help me with this. What's the guitarist's surname in the Smiths? Johnny. Oh, I'd go with the Smiths only because his guitar playing, Johnny, is so sparse, so sparse, but so melodic, and just so wonderful to listen to. And Johnny Marr, thank you, Brian. Cheers. Yeah, I knew it was on the tip of my tongue. Did you know that Johnny Marr helped write? I don't know if he co-wrote it or he completely wrote the soundtrack to Inception. I think that's brilliant. Like, and that soundtrack is iconic now. In fact, I've even had people saying, teach parts of the Inception soundtrack. Yeah, so I think it's great that he's sort of branched out into doing film music as well. Maybe he's been doing it a while, I'm not sure, but I was certainly aware that that's what he was. He did the soundtrack to Inception. How much have you earned from YouTube? Well, I'm obviously not going to answer that. It's quite a personal question. But I will say that YouTube does help support what I do, but really YouTube for me is a method to meet people like yourselves. So it's a method to meet other guitarists, and obviously if you guys want to take things seriously with your learning and sort of do structured courses, get feedback, things like that, then there's parts of my website that are paid for. So it's YouTube really for me is just a method to meet other interested people in guitar. That's all it is. So hey, say Ganzo, hey, Clips and Hands. You've asked me that same question again. Take a look at some Spanish guitar bands, rock bands, and tell me what you think next. Okay. What would you do if you have a choice of either Ed Sheeran or Archery Olympics? I'd go for Archery Olympics. That was a one-off event. Never ever going to get to see that again. Do you think fingerstyle is more intimate? I think fingerstyle, no, it doesn't matter. All music can be intimate. Doesn't matter what it is, whether you're playing a guitar or you're playing a kazoo. Actually, no, maybe not a kazoo. Kazoo. Have you ever heard a kazoo? Oh God, for me, it's close to the annoying sound of bagpipes. If you've ever heard bagpipes, Damien Rice or the Lumineers. Damien Rice all the way. That's really easy. Kazoo or guitar. I think I might just. Yeah, that's right. I'm just going to become a kazoo teacher. I'll give up. Guys, I think we're wrapping it up to the half an hour mark. This has been one of my favourites. I think I'm going to keep it this laid back every time. So, thanks for, in fact, I've got a minute left. Kazoo or guitar? I used to sing in a children's band where not in a band full of kids, but it used to be a band that put on performances for little parties of children. And I used to have to do a kazoo solo in some song about the alphabet. I remember that really, really clearly. And the kazoo is just such a silly instrument. It really is. It's basically singing, making your singing sound terrible. That's how I describe the kazoo. Yeah. Leads or chords? Oh, I go for chords. No, I'm not high. I'm high on life. Have a good night. Beer calling. Yes, Sarah. Good. I can't wait to meet your husbands and make sure he's around next time. What about the harmonica? Well, Brian, that's a totally different thing. The harmonica versus the kazoo. The harmonica's got a lot more melody to it, and and skill, basically. There's not much skill behind the kazoo. I bet I'm going to get some kazoo enthusiasts commenting on my channel. Do I like Kasabian? Yes. Yes, I do. I really like Kasabian. Right, guys, look, it's been 30 minutes. So this has been one of my favourites. So I've really, really enjoyed this. I shall see you again next Saturday at 5 o'clock. Remember, if you want to be notified of when I am doing lives, then click the bell icon right underneath this video right now. Someone's, because they've said it a lot, they're asking me what my age is. I'm 35. The schedule for these live streams are Saturdays at 5 p.m. GMT time. Keep on playing. As ever, it has been an absolute pleasure. One of my favourite ever lives. Keep on playing and see you soon.